It's whenever you go 100% or more, 110%, where you actually create the relationships that last decades. I think the most pivotal moment in my life is the moment that I accepted Christ in my life. That's when things completely changed for me. Leading by example creates the ripple effect. And that ripple effect is the most beautiful part about all of it, because you don't know how the way you show up every single day, you don't know how that shows up and changes somebody else's life.
That's right. Welcome to the Gynergy Effect podcast. So excited. We have an incredible guest today that has just impeccable energy and spirit to him, Mr. Joseph Silva.
My guy.
How are you, my man?
I love the energy as soon as the lights are on. I mean, but it's not like it changes. It's just even somehow there's like 1 or 2% more that you got in the chamber, and I love it, man.
That's it, man. You dive deep. You get it, brother. So Joseph is a founder of Provision Real Estate Advisors and co-founder of CCG Real Estate Advisors, where he helps real estate investors make clear, confident decisions. His work is focused on simplifying real estate, understanding the numbers, and using real estate as a tool to support life rather than add stress. Joseph comes from 3 generations of real estate family. His grandfather, Damon Stanley, was a prominent developer who secured the first development rights for Spyglass Ridge in the 1980s. And his father, Joe Silva, is a leading real estate land advisor in California's Central Valley. After 7 years in business, banking at U.S. Bank, Joseph forged his own path in real estate, his life and work rooted in his faith. He credits his growth, discipline, and success to his relationship with God. He's currently building a podcast that gives entrepreneurs a platform to share their testimonials and how faith has shifted the way they lead their business.
Wow.
Let's go.
Let's go, man.
My man.
Doing some homework on it.
You know, that's what I do.
How does the world access to my chat GBT?
We ain't playing out here, man. We dive deep because we are here to get in it, so that we really truly understand who you are, your mission that you have to spread to the world. And I just align with you so much on your energy and the way that you look and at life and with God, how you resonate. And I love the fact that we're at Captivate Church and we didn't have no seats. We're like, we're going to sit in the front row. Nobody was sitting in the front row. And we said, from now on, every time we're going to go sit in the front row. And then last time I was at Captivate, I was walked in there and guess what? Walked straight to the front and guess who was there? My man right there.
Yeah.
Falls through on his word.
Works out like that sometimes.
It does, bro.
It separates those that, hold their word and those that don't.
What does that mean to you? What does that mean to you, holding your word versus those that don't? I think that's important.
I think we have one name and our word is attached to our name. If we give somebody our word, we're going to represent them to our highest capacity. We're going to do so with everything that we got and the resources that we have access to, not just what we know, but who we know. I think going above and beyond is absolutely everything. And no matter what you do in your relationships, in your health, right? If you show up 95% at the gym, you're going to get 95% or less of the results. It's whenever you hit 100% that you actually see the growth, though. It's whenever you go 100% or more, 110%, where you actually create the relationships that last decades. Not just a transaction, not just a date or a conversation. They supersede whenever people see that you're genuine and you hold your word with everything that you got and you abide by it. And even if you can't do what you think you can, like you're honest and transparent with it, like your word is everything. So I'm a firm believer in doing everything you possibly can to supersede expectations and 100% hit your goals as well as what you say you're going to do.
Man, that's powerful. I love the quote. It's how you do anything is how you do everything.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. Who said that?
I was thinking about that when the first time I heard it was a yoga instructor at at the beach. He does it over the bluffs off Law Street. Was Nama Steve?
Yeah,
he has shirts that say that. I don't think that's his quote. Maybe it is. If it is, he's crushing the game. But he might have pulled it from somewhere, like Rumi or something.
Yeah.
But how you do anything's how you do everything is like, man, that translates through everything.
Absolutely. It's like Alex Ramosi says, stacking undeniable proof is everything, right? Stacking undeniable proof that you do that over and over and over and over again in all areas of your life. No matter if it's business or in your personal relationships or if it's your health, stacking that credibility, stacking the proof that you do this over and over and over again.
What has been some of those learning experiences? Because what I love is the hero's journey, right? Because, man, this life experience that we're on, some of it we have these highs, some of the lows, some of the joy, some of the pain, and it's all part of the experience. Without the pain, you don't have the joy.
Yeah.
Without the suffering, you don't have the happiness. Like they all correlate together, right? And so, what would you say some of those experiences that you had, from the time you started growing up, as you kind of grew into yourself, that has really kind of forged you to who you are today?
Mine went into a couple different ways whenever you asked that. I think the most pivotal moment in my life is the moment that I accepted Christ in my life. That's when things completely changed for me. I grew up in a Christian household. Well, I got Christian household. I had two households, mother and father, separated whenever I was young. And my father attended church weekly. Yeah. My mother didn't. She would go. She's a Christian. She believes in God, but she just didn't attend church. My father would go religiously, no matter what, if ands or buts, you're going.
Yeah.
And I was raised, that way. But whenever I left the household at 18. I, like many, I think, try to pave their own path, do things differently. My father was in real estate his entire life, and I didn't, see myself getting in real estate whenever I left home.
Yeah.
So I avoided real estate with everything I could.
With everyone like to play.
So, like, similarly in my faith, or lack thereof, at that point in my life, lack of maturity, I didn't pursue that. I tried to pave my own path, do life on my own. So from about 18 to, I guess, I would show up to church here and there, maybe once, twice, maybe 3 times a year, up until 2023. Yeah, it was in December of 23. Whenever I finally walked back into church. I had just gotten into entrepreneurship. I was in real estate. I was a part of a team. In this team, I was being forged. I jumped out of banking completely, cashed out my 401k, went all in, gave myself no way out, threw myself up against a wall and said, I'm not going to fail. And the only way I can say with certainty I'm not going to fail is because I have no other options here. I'm jumping into real estate. I'm going for it. I have 3 months runway of funds, but that's living off top ramen, bare minimum, right? 3 months. I'm just going to go for it. I went after it. Worked as hard as I could. 6 days a week. There was always that 7th day that was kind of more of a rest play day. But there was a lot of things happening in my life with previous business partners, people in my life, transactions, clients, some hardships, things that I was learning about myself in that period of my life. Like just things that I had to face that I couldn't explain. And you're a big journaler. I wish I would have been journaling at this time in my life to capture those moments, inspiration, ideation, it's fleeting if you don't write it down. Journaling's so important.
So much power in that.
Before we get in that, there was something on my heart. Like people had mentioned a church, active church in San Luis Obispo County. I was living up there at this time whenever I got into real estate. I was just like, well, I got to a point where there was a lot of hard things happening in my life. I just felt this this need to go to church. And I got a commitment from one of my colleagues that was going through it as well. He was going to go, wake up in the morning, almost forgot, rushed there, got there. Worship was taken off, kind of, got a little teary-eyed. I was like, this was good. That's good. Good worship. And then the message, it was like I got sniped in both kneecaps. It was so affirming that I needed to be there. Like, I was like, I'm glad everyone came here. This was great, but this was for me. Kind of one of those messages. And I think we all have that whenever we go back to church. Like, you have those messages like, wow. I know that somehow God's word applies to everyone here, but there ain't no way it applies more to anyone else but it does to me in this moment. It's one of those messages. And then, at the end, as every Christian service wraps up, it was like, if you need prayer, come up. And something inside me was like, oh, I should go up. And then I got in my own way at that moment. I was like, no, I'm not going to go up. Ego, right?
Ego.
Sat there, hesitated, thought twice about it. I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. Started to walk out. Right before I leave the double doors to leave the sanctuary, I get a call from the business partner that was supposed to meet me there. And I step aside and let everyone keep walking past me. And he was like, is there another service? He was like, are you there? Yeah. He's like, is there another service? I said, I think so. I don't know. It sounds like there is. He's like, all right, I'm on my way. And I sat there for a second and I felt the urge again. I was like, did God just stop me for a reason? It's like, I'm just going to go up there and see if I can talk to somebody. Everyone's taken, but there is one guy up on the stage. He's the guitarist, the lead guy for, worship. And he locks eyes with me. He comes down off stage and he's like, hey, what's going on? He introduces himself and he goes, what's your name? And I just break. I knew I needed to be there. I didn't know why. But I broke as a grown man for the first time. I shed a tear in, I don't know how many years, 10 years plus, right? I broke when this man asked me what my name was. He said, what's going on? I said, I don't know.
I don't know what just happened.
I actually have no idea. I'm a grown man. I'm sitting here crying to another grown man that asked me my name. And he prayed over me. And we talked for a minute. This guy's name is Richard Bergman. Incredible man. And in that moment, he offered a hand. He goes, hey, I'll meet with you weekly going forward. If you want to commit to it, we'll meet every Wednesday, 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. or something. He's like, we'll meet early in the morning once a week. Just keep showing up to church on Sunday and I'll see you on that day. I said, okay. And that's kind of right when my life started to change. I started plugging in, attending church weekly, meeting him weekly. I just felt the Lord remind me every time I went to church that this is where I needed to be. Mm-hmm. That church is where I needed to be, but I couldn't explain it. So I continued to attend. A lot of things happened in my life. I ended up walking away from previous business partners. The guy that was supposed to be there, he showed for the next service, but had to go separate ways with him. But I kept attending that church, and just my relationship with Christ began then. And it's been the most fruitful journey that I've ever have considered going down. And it's a continual relationship. Like, it's like something I'm chasing after, It's I explained to somebody one time, the more you know, the less you realize you know.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Like, that's everything in life. When we just jump into something, we learn this much, and we think we have a good understanding. But the more you dive in, the more you realize you can never know all of it, or it takes like this full dedication.
There's a great analogy for you. You like analogies.
I love analogies. Yeah, they're my favorite.
This world uses a different measuring stick than God does. This world will be in a stadium. They'll be looking at, let's say LeBron, okay? LeBron. They'll stack me up next to LeBron. They'll say, all right, this is a dunking contest, guys. Joseph, you're going first. I get up there and I grab the rim, Everyone cheers like, oh, that was cool, great. LeBron will go up and the crowd will go wild because he'll put his whole arm in that thing, right?
Yeah.
It's just like, wow, this guy's incredible. That's how the world measures things, right? Something that we can perceive. But what God does is he steps in and he says, okay, my measuring stick, you guys stand outside. And I want both of you guys at the same time to jump towards the sun. That's my measuring stick.
It's a much different measurement than just grabbing the rim or putting your arm in the...
It's so much greater, man. And the further I get into this journey with Christ, the more I get to, deepen that relationship, the less and less I realize I know.
Yeah.
The further I realize I have to go to be like his son, Jesus, right?
What would you say part of that process is to go through to get closer and closer?
I think it starts with discipline. Discipline is freedom in many areas, right?
Discipline is freedom.
In many areas of our life.
Right.
Our discipline in the gym is freedom. Within our health.
It allows us to go do what we want, when we want, how we want.
For a lot longer period of time.
But if we're not disciplined and don't go to the gym, it has cumulative impact one way or the other.
So to answer your question, discipline with consistency, like starting my day in the Word, 15 minutes minimal, non-negotiable in His Word. I can't tell you how many times I've read a devotional. I'll read 2 devotionals in the morning and a chapter out of the book. Right now I'm going through the book front to back. I've never read front to back. I haven't read many chapters or many books with the Bible.
Yeah.
I'm in Deuteronomy now, but that's my go-to. That's my rhythm in the morning, right? Wake up, starting the devotional, then getting into the Word. And then I'm in prayer. It usually exceeds 15 minutes. It goes so quick. You get stuck on a sentence, right? And you're like, whoa, that was good. But then I go to the gym. But it's in the Word, man. The consistency. If you stay in the Word consistent enough, like God will work on you. And it's funny how many times I've started my day. That's what I was trying to say earlier. In the Word, and I read something that was directly applicable to some moment that day. And I can share that with somebody. If I wasn't in the Word in the morning, I wouldn't have recognized that opportunity to share the gospel, to share a story that's in the Bible.
And what does that mean to you by being able to share that?
I think we're called to, I think I asked you the question the other day. What is the one thing you get to take with you when you go to heaven? Because it ain't money. What is the one thing?
Well, I remember what I said was the impact that we have on the world. Yeah. And that ripple effect is created.
Totally.
By our actions, that we have the opportunity and the interactions that we have every day that continues to live on. But then our relationship with God, when we go up to heaven. But you said something, and I'm trying to remember exactly.
The relationship with God gets us in. Yeah. That goes with us. But the only thing that we get to take with us, which is related to the ripple, is the people that we bring with us.
Right.
So I think that the significance in getting in the Word in the morning, to open up that opportunity to have that conversation with somebody throughout your day, that's building the kingdom. I mean, our job is not to get anybody to heaven, but plant the seed.
Plant the seed, open the door.
Open the door, help somebody in your life, whether you're aware of it or not, by your actions. You can do it intentionally or unintentionally, just by living the life that Jesus would live, to plant seeds around people. I mean, just going, like, I remember before I started praying over my food, giving grace before every meal. Before I started doing that, I recognized somebody was doing it in a restaurant.
Yeah.
They planted that seed in my life. Now I'm doing that, I'm planting that seed in other people's lives.
I agree with that 100%, yeah.
They see that kind of stuff, man.
And then that resonates with them, and you attract people by your actions.
Absolutely.
And I'll share with you why, because Christianity has been in and out of my life at different times. And like really thinking through what I believe in. And like, I understand there's a bigger power in the universe and all of that stuff. And, I always felt like, okay, things are just packaged different ways. Right. And I do believe there's a certain way to live life that is really a framework. But what I've found in life more than anything is, as I went through this journey of diving into going down to Mexico, volunteering at the orphanages and building homes for families, and really just focused on creating impact in the world. Mm-hmm. The people that were most aligned with that, the people that would show up the most in that service element, like that had the values and everything most in alignment, that resonated with me, or people that I saw that is the version of me that I desire to ascend to, they all shared a common thread, or the majority of them, I should say, shared the common thread of faith mm-hmm. through Christianity. And it was just this leading with love. And it's really the faith that invites everybody in. Yeah. And it doesn't matter maybe the shame that you're carrying, maybe the your identity that you hold on to that was not serving you any longer. Yeah. It's for you. It's open for you. And to your point is, the more that we can be that example, because us telling people you should do this, not going to happen. People are tired of that. That's what pushed people away in the beginning. Yeah. But being that version, and that's why I resonate with you, because when I see you, the way you carry yourself, the way that you communicate, the way that you live, from what I understand, it's in alignment with who I desire to feed into or be around, or like that has an amplified impact. Yeah. And so that is, I think, the spirit of what you're saying is, when we can be that example that shines a light and attract people to that, and then they can make that decision for themselves because they're experiencing that energy, that flow, the value system, and everything else. That really is what creates that change.
Leading by example creates the ripple effect.
Right.
And that ripple effect is the most beautiful part about all of it, because you don't know how the way you show up every single day and show the love and offer the forgiveness to people around you, you don't know how that shows up and changes somebody else's life.
That's right.
You're planting seeds every single day. That's why it's so important to, your word, right? Your actions have to match your word. Otherwise, it's inauthentic and it discredits everything you say. If your actions align with the word, with your words, with God's word, the ripple effect is so much greater.
So for someone listening who isn't sure about faith, maybe they've been burned by religion, or they think it's not for entrepreneurs, what would you say to them?
Oh, that's tough. I think we've all been burned. Whenever we're in pain, I feel like we have a fleshly desire to point the finger of somebody to somebody. Why? Somebody has to be at fault here. Why? It's not me. It's never us. Our flesh doesn't allow us to reflect. We have to point the finger at somebody, and I think there's a lot of pain in this broken world. God doesn't promise a life without pain.
Yeah, it's part of it.
It's part of it. What I can do, I can pray over somebody. But if nothing changes, nothing changes. Somebody has to be willing to take that step of faith to open themselves to be corrected. My encouragement is to walk back into church. See what God's got to say about your pain. You got burned. Bring it to God. He doesn't say don't bring it. Don't ignore it. He doesn't say ignore it. He says bring it, lay it at my feet. And leave it there. See what happens. Lay your problems, lay your pain, lay your hardship, financial burdens, lay it at his feet. Say, God, I can't do this on my own. Once you lay it at his feet, genuinely from the right heart posture with love and forgiveness, you start showing up to church. doesn't happen on the first time like it did for me, for everyone. The signs are always there. If it's on your heart's got to be in the right spot. But if there's signs, if you don't see the signs, it's probably because you're not paying attention. But the closer you get to God, the more often you see the signs, more clearly he speaks through others, through hardships, even the ugly stuff. It's God speaking to you. He will rip things from your hands. He doesn't say you won't. He prunes you. Doesn't say it's going to feel good. He will prune you so you can be more fruitful. And sometimes pruning is necessary. Life doesn't happen to you. It happens for you. That's my perspective.
That's right. That's so powerful too, because when you're growing plants and they harvest, they become bountiful with fruits or whatever harvest that you're growing, you have to cut the plants back. You top them, trim them, however, and that allows them to grow stronger. But if you don't do anything, they'll have leaves that go over. They're not getting sun. There's not air movement around it. It breathes all this, bacteria and pests and all these different aspects, right? It's like our lives. If we're not ever auditing it, if we're not becoming clear, we're not focused on that relationship and living with that intention, what may happen?
If we don't audit it, God will.
And then when God audits it, may be a little bit more painful.
Can be.
Yeah.
If that's perspective, right?
Well, who's to say that pain's bad or good, though?
Us.
Right. It's like that Chinese farmer. I love this parable so much. I love parables. I'm all about it. But the Chinese farmer, so he's the Chinese farmer. He has his little farm. And it's like a close little town, right? And everybody knows each other. Everybody's around. So the Chinese farmer, one day in the morning, the gates popped open and they have a horse. It's one horse and it runs out and it's gone. And all the townspeople, they come over and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that happened. And that's so bad. That's so horrible. And the guy's like, maybe so, maybe no. And the next day, the horse comes running back, and it has 8 other horses that have brought with it. And all of a sudden, he opens the gate. They all run into the little pen that they have there. And all the townspeople come run over, and they're like so excited. They're like, oh, that's so amazing for you. That's incredible. And then the farmer's like, maybe so, maybe no. And so the next day, his son jumps on one of the horses to break the horse so they could ride it and do whatever. And as he's doing that, all of a sudden the horse goes and bucks him off and he falls and breaks his leg. So then all the the townspeople, they come over and they're like, oh, is he okay? That's so bad. That's so sad. Again, the Chinese farmer goes, maybe so, maybe no. And so the next day, the army comes over and they're recruiting all the able-bodied men. And he's older. They don't recruit him, and his son just broken his leg. And so he wasn't able to go. So the same thing happens. People come. And it just shows that you never know these chain of events. We don't know whether they're good or bad, or maybe so, maybe no. But they all take us down this journey of life. And if we have our faith and we have this framework that we're talking about, it allows us to hear and be in alignment and be open so that we don't have to carry all of those burdens.
Yeah.
Because he could have been carrying the burden of the horse leaving and his son breaking his leg and all those things. But instead, he just was in the moment and steady to his conviction and his beliefs.
Yeah.
So it just reminds me of what you were talking about.
Hindsight's 20/20.
Always is.
So it makes sense when you're looking at it, looking at life in reverse. But in the moment, I think I said it the other day to you or somebody. I said, God is more creative than we are.
Yeah, you said that to me.
There is no way we can figure out what God's doing in our life with all the pain, all the blessings. Maybe so, maybe no.
Maybe so, maybe no. So, being a Christian and being in business, how do you see God showing up for you in business? What's that relationship like?
It's interesting. Even my Christian faith, I've only been in it for 3 years or so. Got baptized a year and a half ago. I thought I wore Christ on my chest for a while, but I was really concealing it in business. But there were clients that would bring it out of me. There would be moments that it could be shared. And those relationships that came whenever those type of conversations came out are different. Those are my favorite relationships, are the ones that I was unauthentically myself with, whether they were Christian or they were not.
Unapologetically you.
Unapologetically myself. It's authenticity that allows, like I said, the relationships to form.
Yeah.
Same thing with content. If you're trying to maximize the algorithm or exploit the algorithm and maximize exposure by hooking and visuals and all this stuff, it's seen straight through.
Right.
And that shows up in business more often than I realize. Nowadays, I wear it on my chest. And it allows people to, whether or not they align with it, to be able to trust me. Because I'm unapologetically myself, extremely authentic, and I share it. I wear my cross on my chest. They see me for who I am. They know I have good morals because I'm that way. I'm not trying to conceal anything. I'm not trying to use that as leverage, negotiations to, no, this is who I am. I'm not forcing that on anyone, but that's how I live. It started out, me kind of shying away from it, but nowadays it's a part of me. And I can't hold that back, because whenever I do, things happen. God makes it clear. He says, hey, be obedient, be yourself, be authentic. Just watch what I do with that. You never know who's watching.
So your faith in business has helped solidify some of your best relationships, because it drew that closer together, because you guys understand you shared a similar value system and what that means. On the other side of that, has your faith ever cost you any deals?
Yeah. I wouldn't say my faith, but my values have, for sure. I can play the game that says, me. And I'm going to manipulate expectations. I'm going to do certain things that make me look better. I'm going to say things and frame things certain ways that I could do that, but that's not who I am.
Right.
It's whenever I have to carry myself at a certain standard. My character is number one, because I only have one name. And if that means I lose a deal because of it, I lose a transaction, I lose a client because I'm being 100% honest, I never lose the clients, but I can lose compensation for sure.
Right.
By many different ways. It's cost me money. It's cost me money in many ways. I mean, even in partnerships, I've had to walk away of several partnerships. Going out on my own right now. Provision Real Estate Advisors. That's my new team name.
Let's go, baby.
Me and me, and hopefully some at some point. Me and God.
You and God. All the provisions you need.
Yeah.
All the provisions you need.
The firm belief that real estate should provide, not complicate.
Yeah, real estate should provide. I mean, if you do it in alignment and it's for the right reasons, abundance is a part of that journey. Yeah. And you have all the ability and everything else. That's like incredible that you're taking those next steps. And so what I hear you saying is faith hasn't directly cost you deals, but it has cost you in a way where you're not willing to partake in situations or blend yourself in ways that are out of alignment with your core values and your character. And how do you see that? From my side and understanding life that I have been through, when you're fully in alignment that way, everything else lines up.
Absolutely.
And when you're out of alignment, because I've been in alignment and out of alignment in my life, and when you're out of alignment, everything starts flowing away. The more you grab onto it and try to hold onto it, the tighter it goes, the tighter you squeeze, the more it dissipates away.
Yeah.
And when you let go and you put it on God's mantle, like you said, on the doorstep, and you say, I'm going to be unapologetically me, and I'm going to live my life in alignment in this way, and allow everything else to flow to me as it be, and listen to those signals and those signs and the words that are given, then that's when I become fully in line. And that's when the biggest blessings come into my life, even if I don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the hardest part.
Yeah.
Having the faith becomes sometimes the hardest part.
Have you read the book, The Celestine Prophecy?
I have not.
I'll encourage you to read it.
It's
a little bit different. You and I are all about self-help and real stuff. This is more fiction.
I like some of my favorite books tell stories that, that just resonate, like the parables,
Yeah. There's so many nuggets in it, man. There's what you just talked about was almost kind of like control, right? Whenever we want to take control of certain things versus releasing it to God, placing it at his feet and saying, God, I have my own desires, but here it is. This is yours. Do with it what you may. There's this kind of parable, I guess you could say, in that book. There's basically all of these. The plot or the idea of this book is somebody's going on an adventure to uncover these 7, 8, 9 prophecies that the Aztecs had acquired that allow them to do certain things. There's these prophecies that allow for greatness, different frequency, higher level of frequency.
Yeah.
One of the prophecies was to pay attention to where your head drifts in conversation or where your mind goes, daydreams, right? Pay attention to these things. Pay attention to your dreams, because in the dream there's something. And he's in the middle of understanding this prophecy, and what that means. And he's in a jail cell. He just got captured by the bad guys. And he thinks he's, losing it. He's not in his control anymore. He wakes up from this dream that shook him out of, his sleep. And the guy that's in the jail cell with him is aware of the prophecy, understands the prophecy, is going to teach him how to just interpret and apply the prophecy to his life. He's like, what was the dream about? He was like, well, I was in the woods. I was in this valley. It's just, I can't see where I'm going, but I'm looking for a key. And I don't know what the key takes me to, or what kind of key or what it looks like. I'm looking for a key. And I'm going uphill, and all of a sudden it starts to rain. I'm by myself, and I'm looking for this key. And all I can do is think about a key, because the key is the gate. The key is whatever, right? It's the goal. And then it starts to rain heavier and heavier and heavier. And all of a sudden, the valley that he's in turns into a river. He's out of control. This river is taking him downhill, and he's fighting the river with all of his might. He finally gets to the bank of the river, and he has to scale this massive cliff of rocks. And he's climbing up on top of the cliff to get away from the river, right? It's raining, and it's dark. He gets to the top. He looks back down on the river. And he looks over to where the river was flowing in its calm waters. It's a beautiful lake, and above it is a floating key. And then he falls. That's when he woke up. And the guy's like, all right, what do you think that means? He's like, I don't know. He's like, okay, think about it even deeper. What is that? What would you do if you were to go back into that dream? In hindsight, what would you do? He was like, I would let the river take me. And the insight is like, in what ways are you fighting the river?
Yeah.
Which seems to be chaos.
Yeah.
Right?
What we resist persists.
Yeah. What are we trying to resist? What are we trying to hold control over? He's trying to control where he was going. He thought he knew. But if he would have just allowed the river to take him, it would have taken him right where he was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Control. I mean, it's not our design. It's not our plan. You know, he's got the most creative plan you could possibly even paint. You can't imagine the picture he's trying to paint in your life because you're so caught up in the chaos of this broken world and this broken life.
Man, I'll tell you, it resonates with me in so many different ways. And one of them was like with the Gynergy Effect, right? Like we saw so much pain. I've been through so much pain in my life and literally almost ended my life because of the pain and everything. I felt so isolated. And so then the mission became, through all those practices with gratitude, journaling, breath work, meditation, and everything, to create communities of people that don't have to feel isolated like that, don't have to feel alone, don't have to feel like there's nothing or nobody. And it always had a resistance. I don't know about resistance, but I was like, I'm not really going to incorporate faith or religion into it at all. And I didn't know where I was in my journey either, right? And I said that because I didn't want to isolate people from it. You know, and it's still part of it with Gynergy. It's not about pushing religion at all, but faith and that aspect of it is a part of it, right? And I think understanding that the more that I'm doing this, the more I'm surrounded by the people that I'm attracted to, all share that common thread. And it's just God telling me more and more to not resist that, lean into that. And it's just more and more of a theme and solidified. And like, it really is interesting how when you have that open mind and you don't, because we don't know the plan, right? Like this journey I've been on has kind of evolved in these different ways and taken these turns that I didn't understand why I was taking these turns. My whole life has been that way. Like I've literally accomplished some incredible things and then felt the worst of it afterwards and then did it again. But every single ebb and flow has taught me a different lesson. And now when I'm going through this, you know, I think what's really important is to have, when you have that bigger purpose and why, and then you have that faith that aligns with that, it gives you a very specific and very intentional way to live your life, and to live your life in a way that's bigger than yourself, that doesn't allow the ego to take control of that. And especially when you're a leader and you're leading people, that's a very big responsibility. And when you're not 100% like been through it, understand it, clear on, you know, the direction and why, and have that foundation, that can create really dangerous results and inconsistent results. And I think as a leader, we have an obligation through our actions and how we lived to share through, like you said, being in a restaurant, and me and Yessie, we pray every meal now, you know, and I don't care where we are, right? It doesn't matter who's around. We're just going to do that. That's just unapologetically what we believe to be right and what we do. But it wasn't always that way. I didn't always feel comfortable talking about, nor was I in alignment with that, right? It wasn't, but I always admired people that stood for what they believe in. Like, that's always been something that's been very attractive and very like just magnetized to, right? And so, now the mission is really to feed into leaders so that they are the best version of them to amplify that. And you can't do that without having religion be a part of it. I mean, faith be a part of it. And maybe it's not religion, but faith in God.
Yeah.
Because you can have faith in God in different ways, right? It doesn't all have to look the same for everybody.
No. It might not be the tagline, but it's a part of it.
Yeah.
Because it's who you are. Yeah. It reminds me of something I just heard the other day. People don't buy what you do, buy why you do it. Also reminds me of John Maxwell.
I love John Maxwell.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he has got faith all over his stuff, but whenever he started, he was a business coach, leadership coach.
Sure.
People were pressing him in a conference, and he never came out about his faith in any of his other conferences, any of his speaking, his books, first books. Never came out about where his principles came from for leadership, and people were pressing him. And like, the story, as I understand it, is they're like, where did you get these principles? Like what validity do these principles have? Then he pulls out the Bible, puts it on the podium. This is where I get my principles. Yeah. And he walked away.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just whether or not that actually happened, or that's just the story he's told, but it is who he is. An unauthentic, unapologetically, he is himself. And he didn't want to share that because he was in fear of, it changing the perspective of the people that were looking to him for this coaching.
Yeah.
But whenever he revealed that, apparently that's when things change.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you got to niche down to be that specific, to be in alignment fully with.
Yeah. If you try to be something for everyone, or if you try to be everything to everyone, you're nothing to nobody.
Yeah.
That's what I've realized in life in general.
We think we're unique enough to what we're interested in, our values are, it's not the same. Nobody else has these values. Nobody else is interested in things I'm interested. But the truth is, we're not that unique.
Right.
Whenever you're selling who you are, you're truly trying to teach or coach people that was yourself yesterday, which is who you are most qualified to coach.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that are Garin last year, or Garin the year before, or Garin and Yessie several years ago.
That's right.
And whenever you're like, this is who I'm coaching, clearly, definedly, very clearly outlined. This is why I'm coaching, and this is who I'm coaching for these very reasons.
Right.
Those people come out of the woodworks. They'll present themselves to you.
That's 100%. Yeah, so true. You brought up Garin and Yessie. Now I'm gonna bridge over to that aspect. Another thing that we share very much in common is we have the most incredible fiancés, like with the best energy and spirit and just beautiful and everything that you could ever, ask for, in a partner. I got a couple different questions around that as we get to the later half of the podcast here. One is, who'd you have to become, the version of you to attract somebody like who your partner is today?
Took a lot of work. Took a lot of reflection, took a lot of prayer. Took a lot of clarity, what I was looking for. I surrendered myself to God. I got baptized. My past business partner, he had a he's also engaged now, but he was dating at the time. And I got to see their relationship from the inside because we were living together, business partners. And the relationship that my business partner and I had was so incredible because, we were stronger together as men, right? Like the sequoias.
Yeah.
These sequoias are incredible, just the size of these trees. It will blow your mind if you've never seen it in person. But whenever you look into what the root system looks like, it's not
tied together.
It's not that deep. These beautiful, magnificent, strong sequoias, these trees that look like they can withstand anything, have a root system that can't support themselves. The only way that they can support their weight that they have grown is by being interlocked with others. Wow. I think that's similar to like these relationships, brotherhood, right? Or our significant others. My brotherhood with my previous business partner allowed a growth within me and him that was exponential, because he would learn things. He'd share those things unapologetically, just vulnerably. I would do the same, and we would grow exponentially together. And it was great. Like the more time we spent together, the better it got, the better we got, the faster we grew, and more impact we could start creating. I'm a firm believer that our value as men is largely directly like correlated with the value that we're able to bring society. Yeah. Our impact was exponentially growing as great. But then I saw his partner at the time, who was still now they're engaged, but his girlfriend come in. I saw them growing together. And like whenever I first, got baptized, I was like not really looking. I was like, I need more time, more internal work. I need more growth. I need more success. I need to be solid financially. I need to be successful. My business needs to be hands off to get the woman of my dreams that God wants for me. Like, I need to handle this now. I'm working my freaking fingernails off. But I saw his relationship in that she was growing him as well, similar to him and I were growing each other. And my mindset pretty much shifted. And I was like, maybe I don't need to have all these things in order to qualify, for the woman of my dreams, or the woman that God wants me to be with. So anyways, I started looking, and I defined where I would find her. It wasn't going to be at the bars. I knew that for a fact. I marked off everywhere she wouldn't be first, and then I went, all right, where could I find her at? It's 1 church, 2 at the gym, some health thing. 3 at a coffee shop, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning working.
Yeah.
Sober.
Yeah.
That's where I'd meet her. Well, cognizant of that, I stopped going out. If I did went out, I wasn't drinking. I stopped drinking for a little bit. And I'm sober right now, but at that time I'd stopped drinking because I knew that wasn't
in alignment.
If I was out doing that, I was searching for something that wasn't in alignment with what I was truly God wanted me for. Wanted for me.
So good.
Anyways, I worked on the man that I needed to be to get the woman that I know that God wanted me to have. I worked on myself every day in and day out. Prayed about it a lot. And then I met her at a cold plunge and sauna event.
Let's go. Let's go.
Came out of nowhere.
Got a cold plunge right there in the sauna in here, bro. Let's go.
Closet sauna, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I actually met a guy at Rich Sommer's Christmas party in 2024. I went out to this event by myself.
Yeah.
And I was standing in line, and this guy, Mike Schmidt, he was in line, and him and I were chopping it up because we were both there solo, and line was 30 minutes long, and got to know him pretty quickly, exchanged numbers, didn't see him after that. That was early December. Mid-January comes around and he invites me to this event. And I was like, oh, sick, I'm going. And I was like, wait, what is the event? He's like, oh, it's cold plunge sauna, $15, supporting a new business. I was like, I got a cold plunge sauna in my backyard. Had a tough week. I'm good. Appreciate the invite. He shot me the details just in case. Well, I ended up just going somehow. I just jumped in my car and went. So, after $15 to support it, someone else's new business, and meet new people.
Yeah, meet new people.
It can't be bad, whatever. Didn't think anything of it. And I walk into this, and it was right after I'd shot my first podcast, January of last year, on, God. So I was fired up about that.
Yeah.
So I was sharing that with Mike as I approached the sauna and cold plunge, and there was a girl in the cold plunge. She overhears me talking about God. And I guess it's like, all right, interesting, cool. Somebody's here talking. Everyone in there is about universe. And she's like, okay, got it. That was that. The event was great. Had a good conversation with her. Didn't think anything of it. Great conversation with everyone. We all intertwined on a group chat, so we had connections and followed each other on Instagram. That was mid-January. And then, 3-4 weeks later, she's like, let's grab coffee. Grabbed coffee, great conversation. It's like, all right, that was interesting, but I was busy. Didn't have time. Staying focused on me, building business. 3-4 weeks comes around, March. She touches base again. Hey, enjoyed our time. Maybe we can do something soon.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what? I'm going to take you on a date. Took her on a date. And on one date, dude, I was like, whoa. I had never felt anything like this. Mm-hmm. It was so crystal clear, dude. So crystal clear. I was like, this thing, I don't know what this is. Like, this is interesting. Never felt anything this quick. And then I took her on another date a week later. And another week, started hanging out a couple of days. And I was just like, within like 2 months, man, I was crystal clear that this is the woman of my dreams that God has for me. That He had set before me. 7 months later, October 24th, I got on a knee.
Let's go.
So why wait?
Best decision you ever made.
Why wait, man? And she has become that partner that I can rely on, that I can go to and I can grow with. Be unapologetically myself. She can encourage me. She sees the best side of me and the worst. She knows who I am better than anyone else in my life does, better than my family. She knows the man that I am behind closed doors and in society. She's encouraged me to be me, unapologetically me, because she loves that in me, and that needs to be shared. She is pushing me beyond anything I've ever seen. And another part of this, man, is I also heard it once, like, chase after God with all your heart, with all your might, as fast as you can. And keep an eye out for anyone out there that can keep up with you. And if you find her, bring her in. Give her a chance. This woman is so fired up about God, man. She's pushed me so much further, closer, like so much closer to God. She's improved all areas of my life, my health, my relationships, my business, relationship with Christ, but most importantly, that and that alone, man. She's pushed me in, and it's changed my life. I'm so fired up to get married.
Man, I love that. So many great takeaways there. One, I was just so fired up to get married, and that's a beautiful, beautiful place to be. I'm so happy for you. Just the process of you going through, and it resonates with me so much on my journey as well, with becoming the version of me to attract Jesse, and becoming very clear of what's in alignment and what's not, what's my non-negotiables and what's not, but really having that mirror to myself as well. So am I putting myself in situations that attract that?
Yeah.
And like for you, it was, church, the gym, coffee shops at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Those are great places to meet those person. But the thing I resonate with you too is like, when I went on my date with Yessie, there wasn't a question. It was like, I know, because I did the work and I became clear about that's my person. And it became very clear to you. And when I speak with people and they're like, I don't know, and it's early in a relationship, we'll tell. It's like, no, like, if it's your person, you're going to know, because you did the work to know.
Yeah.
And if you haven't done the work to know, then it's going to be murky like that, because you haven't done the work to say, these are my negotiables, non-negotiables. And you're not doing anybody a service by being with them to be with them. It's just the longer that you take to be that, you're just doing everybody, it's just going to create harm, right? So it's better to spend that time, become in alignment, attract that person that lives with values that 8 months, I'm going to be on one knee. For me, it was just a little less than a year. We're on a trip in Greece and Italy, and but we did this whole book called 8 Dates by John Gottman. And on the first date, I thought we were boyfriend, girlfriend, but first date, it was about clear communication and everything and commitment. I realized that she communicated to me, you haven't asked me to be your girlfriend. We're not officially boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm like, what? I thought like us being exclusive because we had that conversation.
Yeah.
I thought that's what that meant. She's like, nah. so I asked her to be my girlfriend. And then on the 8th date from the book, not our 8th date overall, 8th date from the book, I asked her to marry me. And so that was a pretty cool like part of that process.
That's beautiful, man.
But I love everything that you shared, and I will attest, like your guys' energy together is amazing. She has this incredible light that just shines, right? And so two of you guys together is really powerful. It's like this, we call it the Gynergy Effect, right? Like it's this amplified energy that creates impact outside of just where you guys are. It's a great example of what a relationship, the right way to set up a relationship, and be intentional about that. So really, really love all of that aspect of it. We're going to start closing this out, even though I think we could go all day.
Yeah.
Right. We could do this all day. So I want to just 5 minutes hit on the podcast, your mission that you have around it. Why building your podcast, giving entrepreneurs a platform to share their testimonials. What's missing right now in that space?
This is something that came over a year ago to my heart. I was considering the idea of starting a podcast. I didn't know what it was going to be about. I thought it was going to be about real estate because that's what I'm doing, right? Sometime around these thoughts, it was probably end of 2024. I get in contact with Rich Sommers, and Rich Sommers loops me into this community, the 7-figure creator, right? I get closed on, and I'm in it, and I'm starting to just digest all the podcast information.
Yeah.
And in that time, I'm coming to the realization, what I shared a minute ago was, the only thing we get to take with us to heaven is the people that we bring with us. That is all.
Good.
That is all we have to do, is bring more people with us. Our family, our loved ones, our clients, the people that we run into at a parking lot, like the guy that's letting us in the parking structure, dude. That guy too needs to make it. The only thing that stops them from going is us. It's ourselves. We get in our own way. We get in the way of God. God wants us to bring everyone with us. I mean, we don't do the work. We don't do the work for them. We plant the seed, though, and that's all he asks us to do, and he'll water that thing for us.
Yeah.
We just got to trust that he does. Anyways, I'm coming to this realization. So as I'm in this podcast community with Rich, originally thinking I'm going to start a podcast about real estate, I'm like, it's a KPI it's not aligned with who I am. I can make more money. God will continue to bless whatever I do. I very clearly had this moment where God was like, create a podcast for my kingdom, not yours, Joseph. And I got a soft spot. I have pillars, right? Things that matter a lot to me. Faith is number one. Faith above everyone. Family. My relationship. Everyone. Faith is number one. My relationship with Christ is number one. Without him, there is nothing. Without him, it does not matter. Like Job, take everything from me. As long as I got you, God, you are number one, right? Faith is number one. Family is number two. 3 is health, and 4 for me, like what's important about what I enjoy is business and impact. I enjoy creating impact, and I do so through my business, entrepreneurship. And I have a couple stories, right? Like in ways for which God has come into my life, my business, and has changed the way that I do everything else in my life. My health, my relationships, show up for my family, show up for my clients, how I communicate, how I market, how I do everything. God has impacted since I've accepted him into my life. And he is blessed because of that. And I've come to realize that through just organic conversation with other entrepreneurs, there's a lot of individuals out there that too have gone through an experience where they have met Christ. They surrender their lives to God, and their life completely changes, and God blesses what they do beyond their desires, like beyond what they could have even imagined. And I believe what God wants us to do is share our testimonies in confidence. And I don't believe that there's a platform out there that I can find that that gives entrepreneurs a platform to share their story, because their story is just as important as everyone else's. Again, back to the idea of like the why. And people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Your testimonies are correlated. Great opportunity for business owners to share their why, to share how they do what they do and why they do what they do, and how that's changed the way that they show up in all areas of their life, all businesses of their life. And so that's what I'm going to be doing, is I'm going to be starting a podcast. I shot one last year, was the first, and it was great. It wasn't with an entrepreneur, but it was with my stepbrother who got me into Christ, got me closer to Christ, brought me to Christ, gave me my first devotional.
Sure, that was powerful.
Bible. It was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Talk about masculinity, what that means.
It's a great
God's
topic to talk about.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm starting a podcast to help people share their testimonies.
I love that.
And unpack like how that's changed everything. We went to Tulum end of last year, right?
Yeah. And shout out to Rich, because I'm part of that thing.
That was
same thing too. And that's where I met you.
Yeah.
Right?
In person, first time. Yeah. That event, I know this is more than 5 minutes to answer the question. I'm sorry about it. I'll kind of keep it brief, but I went to this event purely to meet one person. His name is Mikey Taylor.
Yeah. I did a podcast with him.
I saw that while you were there. I was so jealous, man. I was like, I love this. This is awesome. You did. Yeah. I loved it, man. He shot like 2 or 3 podcasts back to back. And you were the last. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
I was like, man, can you get a 4th? I'll step in, but I was like, no. But I did get him to ask. I got the opportunity to ask him that question.
It was great too.
Because the entirety of that event was how a rebirth or a change in identity. How we change our identity is like, we have to change our identity from, a business owner to like content creator, like podcast, like a brand. Like we have to change our identity to actually go all in on this branding thing, on this podcast creations thing. And Mikey was talking about it, and I knew of his values. I knew he mentioned briefly, his faith a couple of times, but I've seen it on his Instagram, and I was like, I want to unpack this. He's somebody I want to talk to. Got an opportunity to ask him a question in front of 125 people, would you say, were in that room? And my question was, everyone's talking about a rebirth or a change in identity. If there's one thing I know, it's the greatest rebirth that you can have in your entire life is surrendering your life to Christ. Explain to me how that rebirth changed the way that you showed up in your relationship with your wife and in your business. And his wife was there, and the first time she had spoke, she raised her hand and she said, I'll answer that. So she answered the relationship side. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful, so insightful, so beautiful. And then he responded from the business side. And then we wrapped that entire event. A couple days later, Mikey Taylor, I was excited about that answer. I was like, that obviously was something of value for others. Everyone was like, thank you for asking that question. Then kind of solidifying my belief in this actually being something that I think people want to hear about, people's stories. And then Mikey Taylor himself, he's got 1 million followers on his Instagram alone. He left that event and he was talking about the Tulum retreat, and then he created a story and tagged me in it, and it said, Joseph Silva asked me this question and explained his answer publicly. And obviously that resonated with him. And that, again, further solidified this vision of what I feel like I'm called to go out there and do is share that with others, share other people's testimonies.
I mean, I think it's obvious, one, that you are a great storyteller. You're a great communicator. You have something that really resonates in a mission that's like deep inside of you. So, I mean, if every day you're not doing it, you're holding back from what your mission and your vision is, which is disrespectful to God, I would say.
It's disrespectful. You're
yeah, I mean,
you're just
you're
100% right.
I mean, bro, you can't be disrespectful to God. That's like, like he gave you a gift. On the last podcast, I think I talked about this. I have this vision because I've almost died a couple times and I almost ended my life. And so I look at every day as a bonus day now. But I have this vision of when I die, and I can't remember, maybe it was on Ed Milet's podcast when I first heard this. But when I die and I go to heaven, and they're running back all the film, and we watch the life, the film of my life, right? And maybe a couple other versions, but God's like, come here. I'm going to show you what I created you to be. I'm going to show you what you were meant for in this world. This was the optimized best version of you. And he plays that. And I think about this every day of my life. How close am I living towards that?
Yeah.
And that is a great pull, motivation, and a constant assessment of that.
Yeah.
So I would challenge you in the same way. It's like, if you're holding back and you're not living that tape, that version, then why not? Because tomorrow's not always guaranteed, and a lot of people die with regrets. And I refuse. I've had enough regrets in my life I refuse to live with more. So
appreciate the encouragement.
I'm going to drop into, we got 2 questions left, 2 segments left. So I'm going to ask you, we're going to do a rapid fire.
Okay.
And then we're going to end it with one question that I have for you.
Okay.
Okay. So you ready?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. Best advice your father ever gave you?
You only have one name.
That's a great advice. First Bible verse that comes to mind.
I'm going to misquote it. I'm not going to even say it. It's so good.
Just misquote it. It doesn't matter. It's progress over perfection.
Yeah. Don't do anything with uncertain belief. For those that doubt are like the waves of the sea. They get tossed to and fro.
Yeah, that's such good wisdom. And I want to challenge you on another thing. You almost didn't share it because you didn't know if you get it perfect.
There's so much more to it, and that's why I want to say it all.
I got challenged on this the other day. I was on a call with this guy, and he asked me what was my favorite Bible verse. And man, I was like, man, I actually couldn't just think of one that I had ingrained. And it's so funny, now I got this little bracelet that has Bible verses in it.
Yeah.
But when I was talking to him, I was like, this is great because it helped me. Like, I love iron sharpens iron, right? Like brotherhood and iron sharpens iron. There's a verse in the Bible about that.
Yeah.
And it forced me to be like, you know what? If I'm ever asked that question again, I'm going to be very clear on what that is and why. And that's a beautiful thing. Well, I think you gave a good description of it. So which one was it again?
James, it's SA2-4, it's 1 through 4.
Yeah. And what's the premise of it?
Those that doubt won't get very far. Tossing in the waves, middle of the ocean, they go from to and fro. There's nothing solid about them.
Be solidified in your belief with conviction.
Yeah.
With conviction. What's the best real estate advice you have for a beginner?
If you don't know the numbers, if you don't have strategy, it's not an invest. If you don't know the numbers, if you don't understand the numbers, that's not strategy. It's hope. Money is made on the buy, not on the sell. Make sure you're making a good buy. Have an investment thesis, couple exit strategies. And if you don't know, ask. If you don't know, work with somebody that does know, that has access to the people that have been doing this for years. You know, I'm only 30 years old, but I've spoken to thousands of investors in this marketplace. Thousands of hours of time speaking to investors in this marketplace. I know what's working, what's not working. I know where their opportunities are. Find somebody that knows these kind of things in your market. Ask the questions, work with them, seek advice. And don't try to do it on your own. Don't think you can read a book or two and ChatGPT. You're going to miss something. And the cost of a mistake, of a bad purchase, it's expensive.
Well, the thing about AI is only as good as the prompt you give it.
Absolutely.
So if you don't understand what you're even asking about and why it matters, you don't know where to get depth on. What do you and your fiance argue about?
Me and my fiance, what do we argue about? What's scary is we don't argue. We debate. She's got a master's degree in psychology. She's so smart. I can't even fight with her.
She just runs circles around.
She will run circles.
She just runs circles.
I can't.
Is there a common theme or underlying?
Man, there's anything we fight about, it's like being on time, getting somewhere early.
Early.
I got this itch to be early or late, and if I'm not early, then I kind of like I hate that feeling of being rushed and having to drive fast or run below red lights. I'm not that guy. It's like, all right, we're already late, so like we're just gonna get.
We're just gonna get there when we get there. Yeah.
But I mean, like, we don't argue, we debate, and we have differing opinions, but
the on time, the on time thing.
Oh, that's something.
That's Yessie and I. It's like when I go to church without Yessie, I walk in, nobody's sitting down yet, and I can pick my seat exactly.
Yeah, take your time.
When I go with Yessie, it's like we're scrambling to get in. It's different. I was able to trick her the other day because they moved the time back 15 minutes to 9:45 instead of 9:30.
That was the first day we sat up front. I did the same thing, dude. I did the same thing.
So I was like, hey, we're going to leave no later than 9:15. Of course, we don't leave till like 9:25, and we still get there. We walk in, and you're like, oh, we can pick our seat. What's going on? It was just hilarious. All right, so this is supposed to be 15 to 30 seconds. Rich Summers, one thing you learned from him.
One thing. Get out of your own way, Joe.
Get out of your own way.
Be authentic, be yourself, and go for it.
Go for it.
Like just go for it. Yeah. If you got a passion, if you got a belief and you're going to share it. And
just
the reps.
Just go.
Iterate through reps.
Morning routine, non-negotiable.
Got to start my day in the Bible.
What would you tell yourself before you found Jesus?
You can't do it on your own.
Provisions in one sentence.
Provisions in one sentence. God always provides.
God always provides.
God will always provide.
All right. I love that. So we've had some incredible conversations. You've been around, Gynergy, Yessie and I, some of the people that are part of Gynergy. Question for you. What does Gynergy and Level 5 life mean to you?
Level 5 is the only thing I'm really connected with as of now or aware of. Gynergy, I've watched your guys' content, and I've seen you and Yessie communicate, and I see what you're putting out there and supporting couples, and I'm sure it's similar, but with Yessie involved, and it's beautiful. For me, it's community, accountability. Iron sharpens iron is what I hear whenever I hear Level 5 life.
Iron sharpens iron. And what's the impact when you have that type of accountability and brotherhood?
The impact is limitless. I would say the importance of that type of brotherhood is there will be times that you will try to get in your way. And the brotherhood is there to help you identify those areas, push you, instill confidence in areas that you're not so confident in, help you overcome limiting beliefs that you're blind to. That's why there is importance in community. You have to be locked with others, whether it's in a Bible study or in a business community such as this. You have to be interlocked with others, because if you think you're unique enough that your issues are unlike anyone else's, you're wrong. There's people out there that have gone through a lot of things that you're going through, just with a different taste, different flavor, different color to it, different skew. There's wisdom to be found out there, and if you don't put yourself in the position or in the circles that can help you overcome these things or foresee the issues that are coming down, if you don't take action today and learn from other people's mistakes, if you don't put yourself in those circles, you're going to learn the lesson. It's going to be a little bit more painful, and it's probably going to take a little bit longer than it's supposed to, which is going to take ultimately time away from the amount of time you could be your highest and best self in minimizing your impact today versus jumping into these circles and maximizing impact today. Robbing God.
Impact. Robbing God's plan for you.
Yeah.
So one big last question. We talked about Level 5 life, you joining Level 5 life, being part of that brotherhood, that accountability. moving towards your highest self. You said you were going to think about it. What did you think about? You going to join?
I think it makes sense.
Let's go. Does that mean you're the newest member of Level 5 Life?
Let's go for it.
Let's go, dog. I love that.
Let's create some ripple effects, brother. You too, dude.
All right, sit back down, though.
Yeah.
We're not done yet. That's beautiful. So, sometimes in life, you meet people and their energy and who they are as human beings resonates with you deeply. And the reason that Joseph is here right now is because that's exactly it. His energy and who he is as a human being resonates with me. And I can see so clearly everything that impact and everything that you're meant for in this world. And I'm so excited to be a part of that with you and take this journey with you and help lift and support and feed however I can, and you vice versa back, because you have a gift to give. And the only thing holding you back is nothing, because everything is here for you. And I'm grateful to share this podcast with you. I'm grateful to have this on. And this is just the beginning of so many great things individually for you and together with each other. So if you really enjoyed this podcast, and we take so much pride in really giving you everything that we can, preparing and finding the right people to share, please like, share, everything else. But if people want to find you, how can they find you to connect with you?
Well, no podcast platform yet, so I don't have a handle for that.
So what will it be?
I had a name and I found out someone else got it.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You can take it over.
I could. They only got like 3 months worth of posts, and I'm like, should have started last year. a little bit more painful.
That's a good experience right there.
Last year.
Yeah.
Life of J Silva. That's my Instagram. That's my TikTok. That's where I'm posting my content. That's where you're going to see a lot more faith-driven content.
Okay.
Be speaking openly about what I'm doing, what I'm learning, and opportunities out there to do better. I'm trying to educate on my platform going forward. Not
trying or committed to?
I will be educating.
You're committed to educate. Helping
people that, are trying to step in real estate, and they only have ChatGPT and they don't know what questions to prompt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to provide some valuable content on there for individuals that are trying to get in real estate, specifically multifamily, and other assets as well. Some knowledge that I'm learning, things that I'm learning from other investors.
Yeah.
I've shared some things, but I'm going to go all in on that this year.
Time to go all in.
It's all about creating impact, creating value for other people, and I can do that. And that, as well as my faith, sharing more podcast content.
Well, I'm excited, man. So grateful to have Joseph on with us. Please, again, if you enjoyed today, like, share, follow. Also follow him. And we will be bringing an episode every week, so you'll see us. And we look forward to sharing this journey, this time, this energy with you. Thank you for tuning in to the Gynergy Effect podcast, and we'll see you all again soon. Let's go.
If this episode spoke to your soul,
share it with someone you love and tag us at the Gynergy Effect. We'd love to connect.
And remember, your energy is your power. Use it with intention.